Sagittarius, welcome to your mid-July 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Hope everyone is well. And if you are American, I hope that your neighborhood has quieted down. I've been really enjoying the silence. This is how it used to be when I was a kid. Around the 4th of July, it was very quiet, you know, people going to summer homes, going away on little trips, and it was really mellow. And, you know, I think it just, since the 90s, it just has gotten insane. And you know, I don't have pets, but I've read so many accounts of people's pets being tormented by fireworks. And so, you know, it's a shame because it's a neat time of year, even though it's very hot. So I'm just enjoying silence. Silence is golden. Now watch landscapers roll up on me. And a plane goes by. Okay. Wow. I like these cards. This is amazing. I wasn't even really paying attention because I was talking to you. So, the heart of the matter is the Three of Wands. Now, of course, we're fire, so we are Sagittarians. We are wands ourselves. The number 3 is the number of abundance and creativity. So Mars is in Aries, and that is the 5th house for Sag, and that is associated with creativity. So if you're anybody, it doesn't even have to be somebody who paints or anything like that. It could be that you are wanting to start a business, which is another 5th house activity. So having Mars in that 5th house gives Sages the impetus, the drive to really do things in a forceful kind of a way to direct their energy in that area. And so that can bode very well. I'm glad that I got this card because this is a card of expansion and wanting to kind of break out from your confines and explore new territory. And this is, I think, the story of Sag, isn't it? Because our ruler is Jupiter, and actually we rule the area of long-distance travel. And although I'm not quite sure if travel might be associated with this card too. Yeah, I think it is, and even long distance. But even if it's in your mind, or if you're trying to expand something in your life in terms of like starting a business, expanding a business, that could be expanding like products that you offer, that could be in the works. In the past position, we have the 7 of Pentacles. I think this is one of the ingenious depictions on this deck that is totally different from the Rider-Waite. This is the Wild Unknown tarot deck. And, you know, typically the Rider-Waite deck shows the 7 of Pentacles like the farmer looking at his crops that he has, you know, begun to nurture and saying, are they going to, I'm just going to say something that's nonsensical, bear fruit, but we know it's not fruit. And same with this. We're talking about material matters. And you see that it's ascending. So it's like, are my profits increasing? And it can be very modest because this is a card of patience. So if you have started something, Sag, you have to wait. You have to be patient. That's hard for fire signs, to be patient. Also, it's hard for fire signs to be moderate. Unless you're like me and you have a lot of earth, and it kind of makes you more, you know, cautious and realistic. I think realistic is the word I was looking for, because I think fire signs tend to be like so over the top, especially Sag with the Jupiter rulership, where they exaggerate, have exaggerated expectations, and then what happens? It lets you, then you like are really let down from it. And the more that you cultivate this sense of being more reasonable about your expectations, the more that they will yield something that is more in alignment with things being, realistic. And I know some of you probably don't like the word realistic because it sounds boring, but it actually can be quite good because it can keep you on an even keel so you don't give up from your dreams, which brings me to this card. This is the higher message. The star card. So what do we associate with stars? Well, in general, we think of, when you wish upon a star, like there's some magical quality looking up into the sky. Maybe it's a substitute for God or the universe, who knows. This card, to me, ultimately, I remember reading a depiction about this where they were talking about healing, hope and healing, and implying, an ordeal. And I have read enough online to get the feeling that a lot of Sagittarians have felt immense challenges in the last few years. And I'm, I have to say, I'm there with you if you have been there and done that. And the weird thing about it is that we don't even have Saturn in our sign anymore, transiting it. So, and we had Jupiter last year, and that was supposed to be so great, but a lot of people didn't feel that way. And, people blame, Neptune is in Pisces, and that is creating a square to Sag, and all that. Yeah, maybe, but I don't think Neptune has that kind of influence that we're talking about. I think that a lot of people are being challenged, the collective. And this is because at the very same time that we're being challenged, we're being stretched. And there are so many good things that are either happening or they seem about to happen. It's like Charles Dickens started, I think it was A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And I think the reason that book was so famous, or that opening line was so famous, is because it's so true, that life is a paradox. And so, and I think about that all the time. You read terrible stories in the news, and then you see these wonderful, wonderful things, and you think, this is so beautiful. I think that our vibration is rising. But at the same time, there's like this conspiracy to drag it down. It's up to us to choose the light. So the star card is really about having faith in unseen forces. I believe that a lot of Sagittarians are like this. A lot of us do believe in that. This can also be in the form of friends and family who have crossed over, who you may wonder, are they with me? Do they, are they guiding me? Are they trying to help me? And the answer would be yes. And we are kind of like blinded by that because we're on this side of the veil, aren't we? But the more that we can embrace that possibility, whether we know it or not, we can at least embrace the possibility of it, the more that we can relax into the unknowing. And that can, I think, reduce or eliminate resistance, and then things can flow more easily for us. The challenge card is the Three of Swords. Now, even reading this in the upright position, this can be a sense of rejection. So if you've experienced somebody in your life, and it doesn't have to be romantic situation, it could be somebody who you care about, a relative even, a parent, who you feel rejected you, has ghosted you, disowned you, or a friend. It could be any type of situation. These situations are painful, but sometimes when we really analyze them, we know that they're for the best, especially if the other person does it. That's the funny part about it, is that we may have problem people in our lives, and we're like, how can I deal with this person, because they're impossible, and we don't want to hurt them. Usually Sages are very generous, not just financially, but in terms of our ability to give people the benefit of the doubt. And then we finally get the memo that there are some people that are, I'm just going to say it, they're asshats. And so we have to just, learn to deal. And sometimes that involves tolerating them if we don't have to come in contact with them very often. But if they are contacting us on a regular basis, we may be like, I don't want to deal with this person, but we just don't want to ignore them or just cut them out of our life. And this is a card of cutting something very cleanly off. It sometimes is hard to do because of guilt, because of, especially if it's a parent-child relationship, where we feel we should be doing something along those lines. And I'm sure that there are even cases of a parent, I'm not a parent, but that there are some parents who raise their children respectfully, and they may have children that exhibit these traits as well. And we realize that they have their own problems, and they're looking to us, or blaming us, or what have you. They're blaming the parent, and it isn't the parent's fault. That's a tricky one, because sometimes a parent may not have done anything overtly, but there may have been other things that they should have done in order. They knew that the child was troubled, or maybe there was a divorce that wasn't handled very well, that didn't directly involve the child, like trying to be mean to the child, but maybe the child was very upset by that, and that kind of triggered other problems. Addiction issues with an adult child, or a teenage child even, and these are more complicated, so cutting off from them is not necessarily advisable, because they, if they're a minor, for sure, you can't necessarily do that, or that wouldn't be a good idea. But sometimes with adult children, there are times when a parent has to, at least temporarily, just let them, go their own way and experience their own outcomes. And I'm sure that it's very wrenching for some parents, because they do have that protective instinct. So not going back and forth is one of the things that I'm saying, because that really depletes your energy. And plus, anytime that you're going back and forth in a relationship, there's a good chance that if you're really honest with yourself, and you know that you're not kind of like an abusive person, but you're dealing with a difficult individual, that they are probably jerking you around. And they're kind of preying on the need that they can sense that you have for that connection. It makes them feel powerful to be able to give love and then to withdraw it, but it's not really love. What's coming in is represented by the Five Father of Cups, which is the King of Cups. This can be as somebody in your life. This can be like a father or father figure who is very, nurturing to you. This type of person may have crossed over, and perhaps that's just more confirmation that they are working with you from the other side to help you grow. Again, with that Three of Wands. This may be a counselor that you are going to see, that you feel the need to because of whatever that Three of Wands represents. Swords represents in your life, that you're involved in this, entrenched in this unproductive relationship, and you want out of it, but you don't know quite how to extricate yourself, and you're going to seek guidance from somebody that you can figure out what is the best move to make in regards to this. Oh, I wish this light would stay like this. It looks so much better when it's fully lit up like this. And the outcome is the Moon card. Ooh, interesting. Like I said, with the Three of Wands, this could be something associated with creativity. Well, the Moon card is associated with creativity. And the Moon card can speak to, let me think right now. Well, this is an interesting thing. Now for Sag, the 8th house is a house of death and renewal. So the phoenix rising from the ashes. And guess what? The Moon card can indicate we're having, now this is coming later in the month, but not too much later than mid-month, we're going to have I think it's called a black moon, which is the second new moon in a month. I think it's in this, it's in the same sign. Second new month in a sign. So we already had that solar eclipse in Cancer. Now we're having a black moon in Cancer on July 20th at, I believe, 28 degrees of Cancer. So this for Sag is in the 8th house. This is like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And if you have been in the process of healing from something, and maybe you're working with somebody about it, maybe you're trying to kind of cut the cord, even like energetic cords, I would say with the Three of Swords, they're more connected with the mind, the intellect, but you can kind of also look at it from that perspective as well, is being able to rise renewed, like have a rebirth with that new moon on the 20th. And this is also going to kickstart a new 2.5-year cycle in this area. So anything that you want to manifest that is 8th house related, including the studying of occult material like astrology and the tarot and metaphysics in general, and any kind of financial situations that involve you and another person, or shared resources. If you're needing them for a business, you might be taking out a loan or something like that. All of these matters that could be coming up for you in the next couple of years. But I really think for Sag, one of the best things could be, an extreme makeover. And I'm talking about from the inside out. So the other thing too about the Moon card is it connects to creativity, like I said. So really, like with that Mars in the 5th house, really going after that, if that's something that is part of your self-expression in life, part of your path in life, this is certainly the time. And I guess that Aries, that Mars is going to be in Aries for a long time. It must be retrograding in Aries. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check that because I haven't been following too much of the Mars retrograde since we haven't gotten there yet. So very, very interesting. So we're going to have Mars in that 5th house for a while. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Sag. If you'd like a personal reading, I'm mainly an astrologer. Maybe you can tell because I'm always mentioning astrology when I do tarot readings. But anyway, you can check out what I offer in the link below. And thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.